You saw the headline, but the real story was hiding underneath it. On the surface, it looked like a feel-good manufacturing win. Another award, another ribbon, another polished press release about quality. But that surface story completely misses what actually happened, and it explains why Washington is suddenly uncomfortable. This was never about a trophy. It was about power, leverage, and the quiet collapse of an assumption that has shaped North American economic thinking for decades. The idea that true manufacturing excellence naturally belongs south of the border, while everyone else should be satisfied just being part of the system. That assumption didn't fade away quietly. It broke in plain sight. Officially, Toyota's Canadian operations won another Global Quality Award. But not just any award. This one pushed them past every other automotive manufacturing plant on Earth. More awards than any plant in the United States, more than Japan, more than anywhere else. The most decorated automotive manufacturing facility in the world is now in Cambridge, Ontario. If you stop there, it sounds like a simple success story about skilled workers and good management. Congratulations all around. But stopping there hides the part that actually matters. This didn't happen in isolation. It happened inside one of the most politically sensitive and economically strategic industries in North America. Autos are not just vehicles. They are trade agreements, supply chains, labor standards, regional development, and industrial policy rolled into one system. The moment Canada became the global benchmark for quality inside that system, the balance quietly shifted. For decades, the arrangement was clear. The United States would remain the center of gravity. Canada would participate, supply parts, host factories, and benefit from proximity, but never truly outshine the core. Integration was supposed to strengthen American dominance, not challenge it. What Toyota proved is that integration does not automatically reward size or power. It rewards execution, patience, and long-term commitment. Canada made those choices consistently, while Washington focused on tariff fights and culture war politics, often blaming workers for failures that started in boardrooms. Toyota's Canadian plants didn't suddenly get lucky. They built this reputation slowly, collecting awards year after year without noise or spectacle. That consistency is what makes this moment impossible to dismiss. It wasn't a one-year spike. It was the result of decades of investment in training, systems, and continuous improvement. The company was the same. The trade rules were the same. The supply chains were the same. What changed was how the work itself was respected and organized. This is where anxiety sets in. Global automakers don't decide where to invest based on speeches or slogans. They follow data, performance records, and reliability over time. Canada just sent a very clear signal. If you want world-class quality in North America, the answer is already visible. Now imagine this from Washington's perspective. For years, voters were told that tariffs would bring jobs back, that pressure could replace planning, and that loyalty could be demanded instead of earned. Then, a Canadian plant operating under the same trade framework quietly outperforms everyone, including American facilities, without threats or drama, just results. That's why the response has been silence. Acknowledging this forces an uncomfortable question. If Canadian workers using the same integrated system can build the highest quality vehicles in the world, then the problem was never trade, it was priorities. For years, American workers were told their jobs disappeared because someone else cheated, undercut wages, or played unfairly. That story is emotionally powerful, but it's shallow. What this example reveals is far more uncomfortable. When workers are given stability, training, and a real voice in production, they deliver exceptional results. When labor is treated as a cost to be squeezed rather than an asset to be developed, quality eventually collapses, no matter how loudly politicians wave flags at factory gates. Canada didn't succeed because it's magically different. It succeeded because of deliberate choices, long-term investment instead of quarterly panic, cooperation instead of constant conflict, and public policy that treated manufacturing as a national capability rather than a political prop. This story also arrives at a sensitive moment. Trade talks are tense, tariff threats are back, auto rules are being renegotiated behind closed doors. Political leaders want leverage, and now Canada has something that can't be sanctioned away. Proof, reputation, performance. When Canada shows up at the negotiating table, it's no longer just asking for access. It represents the part of the system where excellence already exists. Threatening disruption now risks damaging the strongest pieces of the entire supply chain. Capital follows returns, not rhetoric. If Canadian plants deliver higher quality, fewer recalls, and stronger customer trust, investment will follow, regardless of what politicians say on television. This is where the usual media framing fails. It treats the story as a national competition. Canada wins, America loses. But that misses the point. Industrial success isn't driven by slogans. It's driven by institutions, training systems, workplace governments, and long-term planning. When those foundations weaken, no amount of nationalist theater can compensate. For workers, this difference is not abstract. Plants built around quality create skill, stability, safer conditions, and communities that can actually plan for the future. Systems built around cost-cutting produce insecurity, churn, and decline. What this moment really shows is that decline is not inevitable. It's chosen. Excellence is not accidental. It's built, slowly and deliberately. Canada earned this position by refusing to hollow out production for short-term gains. That's why this matters far beyond one company or one award. It exposes how fragile the dominant narrative really is. The story that says power naturally belongs to those who threaten the most, invest the least, and extract the fastest no longer holds together when evidence sits in plain view.
This isn't really about Toyota, and it isn't really about Canada. It's about the kind of economic system we've built, and the kind we keep pretending is the only option. When one part of an integrated system consistently outperforms the rest under the same rules, excuses disappear. What remains are choices about investment, governance, and respect for the people who actually do the work. That's why this story matters, and that's why the silence around it is so revealing.